She boarded the plane, clutching Lily, her 3-month-old daughter, tightly. 11 months prior, Maya's life had spiraled when her husband abandoned her and their newborn. He had promised a home but left without a backward glance, leaving Maya to navigate the harsh city alone. She survived by sleeping on park benches, bundling Lily against the winter chill, and working odd jobs at all hours. When her pay from a pie stand barely covered a night in a shelter, she realized she needed a plan to protect Lily. With her last $10 from a stranger, she booked a one-way ticket to Chicago, hoping her cousin Sophia would take them in. She wore a faded dress, her hair in a sloppy bun, holding Lily close. At the gate, an attendant helped her place her small backpack overhead and offered a gentle smile before ushering her to her seat. Maya nodded, forcing a polite thank you as tears threatened to spill. Maya settled into her narrow aisle seat, heart racing. Lily blinked sleepily as the engines revved and Maya whispered, "It's okay, baby. Mama's got you." Her body sagged against the seat back. She had been awake for 2 days, bouncing Lily to sleep and searching for any opportunity to provide for them. The fatigue made her vision blur. She glanced through the small window and saw the runway vanish beneath them as the plane lifted into the gray sky. Maya's stomach tightened with nerves. The seatbelt sign blinked on, and she secured Lily, who whimpered softly before slumping against her own seat, eyelids heavy. As the plane taxied down the runway, the baby slumped against Maya's chest, eyes fluttering closed. Maya exhaled, and without realizing, her head tipped until her cheek rested on the stranger's shoulder. The stranger was tall, his dark hair neatly combed, and he wore a tailored suit that looked out of place in Coach. When her head touched him, he shifted and Maya jerked awake, heart pounding as she clutched Lily. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment. She dared not look at the man, imagining his disgust. She pressed her lips tight against herself to hold back tears and focused on Lily's soft breathing. The man turned to her as he adjusted his tablet. His dark eyes met hers with warmth. He gave a small nod, as though understanding her exhaustion. He leaned toward her and handed her a paper cup of water for Lily, opening the lid so her daughter could drink. Maya stared at him, speechless, the gesture more generous than she felt she deserved. She accepted the cup with trembling fingers and whispered, "Thank you." His lips curved in a sympathetic smile. "You should stay hydrated. Having a baby on your lap can be draining." Maya managed a nod, swallowing hard. She focused on Lily, who took a sip and then closed her eyes again. Maya brushed a lock of hair from Lily's forehead, her fingertips shaking. She exhaled slowly, realizing this stranger meant no harm. Her thoughts raced, how to survive with no money or job and a baby to care for. Night had been hardest these past months. She remembered standing in bread lines for hours, clutching Lily as the bitter wind cut through her thin jacket. She promised herself Lily would never go hungry again. When Lily stirred again, hungry, Maya realized her formula container was empty. Hunger pangs twisted her stomach. She had hoped the airline might hand out baby food, but she had no cash to purchase anything on board. She felt desperate until the stranger leaned closer. "If you need formula, I have an extra can. It's sealed." He opened his briefcase and pulled out a small can of premium infant formula. Maya's eyes widened. I can't accept," she stammered. He simply offered it freely. She blinked back tears and whispered, "Thank you. You saved us." He nodded and returned to his seat, offering a reassuring look before focusing on his tablet again. Once Lily slept again, Maya relaxed slightly. The cabin lights dimmed and a hush settled over the passengers. Maya peeked at the man next to her. He tapped on his tablet but glanced at her occasionally. Maya wondered who he was. She glimpsed his boarding pass. Reynolds Enterprises. Anxiety rose. Reynolds Enterprises was a massive firm she had read about in the newspaper, a company known for skyscrapers and big headlines. For a moment, Maya felt unworthy. Over the loudspeaker, the captain announced their descent into Chicago. Maya gathered Lily's blanket, tried to smooth her dress, and took a shaky breath. She saw her cousin Sophia at the gate, waving eagerly. Relief washed through her as tears stung her eyes. When the plane halted, Maya stood lifting Lily. The man reached into his jacket and pressed a business card into her hand. Nathan Reynolds, CEO. Reynolds Enterprises. If you ever need anything, call me. Maya's throat closed, disbelief flooding her. Thank you, she whispered. He offered his arm, guiding her down the aisle. Maya followed clumsily, eyes downcast. At the jet bridge, she turned to him and mouthed, "Thank you." His dark eyes met hers, unwavering, offering silent encouragement before he slipped away. Sophia enveloped Maya and Lily in a fierce hug as they exited the gate. "Oh, Maya, you look exhausted." Maya clung to Sophia, willing herself not to break down. Sophia led them to her small SUV. Maya sat in the back, cradling Lily, staring at Nathan's card. She pictured calling a CEO, someone from a world she didn't belong to. Yet the card felt like a lifeline. As the city lights passed their window, Maya resolved to try her best. Pride be damned, she would call if she needed help. Weeks passed. Maya and Lily moved into Sophia's cramped apartment, grateful to share a small bedroom but acutely aware of the lack of privacy. Maya found work as a waitress at a local diner. The shifts were long, often double covering someone else's sick leave, and the pay barely covered rent and groceries. Yet each paycheck meant formula and diapers for Lily. Nights were quieter now. Lily slept in a bassinet beside Maya's bed, and Maya felt a fragile peace. Still, worry gnawed at her every morning. Was rent due next week? Would the diner keep her hours steady? One evening after a double shift, Maya returned home to find Lily awake with hopeful eyes. Maya smiled, though her muscles ached. She kissed Lily's forehead and sank onto a threadbare couch. Her phone buzzed, an unfamiliar number. She tapped the screen. "Hello? Maya, it's Nathan Reynolds." Maya froze, her blood running cold. "I hope I'm not intruding. I know some time has passed, but I've been thinking about you and Lily. I wanted to know how you're doing." Maya's throat tightened. "I'm managing," she replied, her voice wavering. "Just working odd jobs and trying to make ends meet." He paused. "Maya, I can offer you a part-time position at Reynolds Enterprises. We're launching a community outreach program for single mothers. Your experience would be invaluable." Maya's heart pounded so fiercely she thought it might burst. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Think about it," he said gently. "My assistant will send details." The line went dead and Maya sank against the couch, tears streaming as she held Lily. "Mama's got this," she whispered to her daughter. Maya prepared for the interview, borrowing a modest navy blazer and slacks from Sophia, ironing each crease, with shaking hands. She practiced speaking about her experiences until her voice grew hoarse. On the day of the interview, she kissed Lily goodbye and dropped her off at a neighbor's daycare before taking a deep breath and entering Reynolds Enterprises, a towering glass building she had only seen from afar. She pressed the button for the executive floors and the elevator whisked her upward. Each passing floor felt slower than the last. When the doors opened, Nathan stood in a crisp suit that looked tailored for a magazine cover. His smile was genuine, and he extended his hand. "Thank you for coming," he said. Maya shook his hand, steeling herself. He escorted her to a sleek conference room where a small panel of executives waited. They introduced themselves and asked Maya questions about affordable childcare, food insecurity, and the stigma single mothers faced. Maya spoke honestly, drawing from her own struggles. Late nights working cash shifts, the shame of explaining why she slept in a shelter, the fear she felt when Lily's diaper ran out and she had no money for a fresh pack. As she shared, she noticed nods around the table. When her voice trembled, Nathan offered a reassuring glance. That night, Maya barely slept. She replayed every question, every moment. The next morning, her phone pinged with an email. With trembling fingers, she opened it, eyes scanning the words. Offer, Community Outreach Coordinator, 12 hours per week, competitive salary, health benefits for you and Lily, flexible schedule for parenting needs. Her knees buckled. and she slid to the floor, phone clutched to her chest. She looked at Lily's smiling face on her phone's wallpaper, Lily wearing a tiger-striped onesie and grinning at the camera. Maya's breath caught at the thought of Lily having health, insurance, and stable childcare. She pressed the phone to her heart and cried with relief. Maya started her new job the following Monday. Each morning, she kissed Lily goodbye and walked her to the corporate-sponsored daycare, watching her daughter's small sneakers disappear behind the building. Maya rode the elevator to the outreach department, where her desk overlooked the city skyline. Nathan introduced her to each member of the team, and she learned they would partner with local nonprofits to offer job training, transitional housing, counseling services, and parenting workshops. Maya's experiences became the foundation for the first pilot program. She visited shelters, conducted surveys with mothers who had lost homes, and met with community leaders to secure resources. Her voice, once silenced by shame, now resonated in boardrooms. Over the next few months, Maya balanced work and motherhood. Her days were a whirlwind, mornings at daycare drop-offs, afternoons leading workshops on budgeting and resume building, evenings cuddling Lily as bedtime stories were whispered. She marveled at Lily's first words, "Mama," and first steps, milestones made possible by stability. She and Nathan met occasionally for lunch, but he never treated her like an employee of lesser importance. Instead, he valued her insights and asked her how to expand the program to rural areas outside Chicago. Maya felt a swell of pride as they reviewed proposals and discussed budget allocations for emergency housing vouchers. One afternoon, as she drafted a budget proposal, Nathan appeared at her office door holding a thick report. "You did it," he said, excitement lighting his eyes. "Enrollment exceeded expectations. We're helping over 50 families this quarter." Maya's chest tightened, pride flooding through her. "We did it," she replied softly, knowing that his support and her experiences had made the difference. Nathan nodded, his smile warm. "Your work is making a real impact." 6 months later, Reynolds Enterprises hosted a gala honoring the outreach team. The grand ballroom glowed with chandeliers overhead and fresh flowers on every table. Maya stood beside Nathan on stage, cradling Lily, who wore a tiny matching dress with a bright pink bow. As Nathan spoke about the program's impact and highlighted Maya's leadership, the audience erupted into applause. Maya's eyes filled with tears of joy as she gazed at Lily's cheeky grin. She had gone from a destitute mother sleeping on park benches to standing under chandeliers, recognized for helping families lift themselves out of poverty, all because she had fallen asleep on a stranger's shoulder. After the event, Nathan walked Maya and Lily outside into the cold Chicago night. Snow began to fall softly, each flake a promise of a fresh start. Maya wrapped Lily in her coat and felt the kiss of snowflakes on her hair. She turned to him, speechless as emotions welled in her chest. He offered his arm, and together they walked toward the waiting car. "You're remarkable," he said quietly. Maya shook her head, still struggling to find words. "I just needed a chance," she managed. Nathan stopped them, looked at her, with earnest eyes. "You deserve more than a chance. You deserve recognition." Maya felt tears sting her eyes as she realized he saw her not as a charity case but as an equal. Lily tugged at her scarf and Maya smiled down at her daughter. In that moment, Maya understood that kindness and compassion could reshape a life. As snowflakes danced around them, she held Lily close and knew that no matter how difficult the journey, love and generosity would always light their path.